Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejas vinavaditamastu mavit vishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 11 to 15 of chapter 3. Devan bhavayatanena,
Devan bhavayatanena,
te deva bhavayantu vaha,
te deva bhavayantu vaha,
parasparam bhavayantaha,
parasparam bhavayantaha,
Shreyah paramavapsyatha,
Shreyah paramavapsyatha,
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha,
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha,
Dasyante yajna bhavitaha,
Dasyante yajna bhavitaha,
Taidattana pradayaibhyaha,
Taidattana pradayaibhyaha,
Yo bhungte stena eva saha,
Yo bhungte stena eva saha,
Yajna shishtashinah santaha,
Yajna shishtashinah santaha,
Muchyante sarvakilbishaihi,
Muchyante sarvakilbishaihi,
Bhunjate te tvagam papaha,
Bhunjate te tvagam papaha,
Ye pachantyatmakaranat,
Ye pachantyatmakaranat,
Annad bhavanti bhutani,
अन्नात् भवन्ति भूतानि
पर्जन्यादन्नसम्भवः
पर्जन्यादन्नसम्भवः
यज्ञाद्भवति पर्जन्यः
यज्ञात् भवति पर्जन्यः
यज्ञः कर्मसमुद्भवः
यज्ञः कर्मसमुद्भवः
कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि
कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि
ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्
ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्
तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म
तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म
नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्
नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So this verse which we are right now exploring, verse number 14, has this special construction. I have already emphasized on that and even made you do a little bit of homework by trying to read. That is the speciality of this verse is he starts from the last step and goes in the reverse direction. Now, there is so much of depth in that. At one go, if everything is given, you will really not be able to absorb anything. Actually, it will cause a lot of confusion. That is why we are taking some time. See, even when one word, the principle is taken up and different dimensions are given, most of the times you will find that one or two dimensions will be given, and in the next session the same dimensions are explained in a more subtle way. That is, more insights are given to you. So that is how you can gradually gain this wisdom. At one go, if the whole thing is stuffed into your mind, it will only lead to a lot of confusion and mental heaviness also. One of the most important thing when you are gaining this ancient wisdom is that you should not feel heavy with this knowledge. Undigested knowledge gives you that heaviness. See, when you eat food, actually it should cause a lot of lightness in your body. You should feel very light. But if you are eating food and you are feeling a sort of heaviness, where you feel full, it means you have overeaten. Not only that, after a few hours, if you still feel a kind of heaviness, it means the food has not been digested properly by your system. Undigested food will also cause heaviness. So when you are gaining this wisdom, you should feel very light That is, your mind should feel so happy, and you should go through life in a light-hearted way. That is the effect, true effect of this wisdom. As far as these principles are concerned, we have structured it very carefully every Sunday so that there is no overdose. That part of it has been taken care of by the master. Now, which means the correct amount of food is only being given to you every week. Even if you want to, you cannot have more quantity. Even if you repeat the same sessions again and again, the quantity will not increase. The depth may increase, but not the quantity. But the second aspect, which is your internal digestion, you will only have to take care. So why all these homeworks are given? Why even so many dimensions are given for each principle? Why the Nididhyasana meditation? See, this whole thing put together will help you to digest this knowledge. And when you digest this knowledge, when you make it your own, when you start practicing it in your life, only then it will get converted into wisdom. Just as when you don't digest your food properly, the same food which is supposed to give you strength and lightness will now cause that heaviness, make you feel weak also. So from your side, you have to focus on digesting. The quantity of food has already been set. You are getting exactly what you require. But now, as far as internal absorption is concerned, you will have to work on that. The yogic approach has been used very effectively, and these sessions have been structured in such a way that they are very conducive for you to absorb also. But that final effort has to be put by you, only by you, I would say. No guru, no God can do that for you. A guru can make things very conducive for you to absorb, but the actual absorption has to be done by you only. So when you are listening to these principles, supposing you feel a lot of resistance from within, you are unable to accept some of these principles. What that means is, it doesn't mean there is a lack of understanding. It means you are understanding it very well, but you are having too much of ego and stubbornness, and that is not wanting to change. It doesn't want to absorb this. Because the moment you start absorbing these principles, which means you reflect, you take it up very seriously and start practicing it in your life, start observing the effects. When you start doing all that, now it will cause a positive personality change. The ego does not want to change. It wants to stick on to its own principles. That is when you get a resistance. So whenever you find a resistance towards what is being said, now what you should do is, during your personal sadhana, when you're doing your yoga sankirtan sadhana, release that resistance, because that is coming from ego. And anything which comes from ego is not good for you. It's not good for your spiritual development. Don't fight with it. What is there within is only coming out. But if you don't understand this process, you will never release it. You will just keep carrying it with you for months together, for years together. But once you understand this, within a few sessions, you can, even one session is enough. You can release all the resistance which you may be feeling within. The resistance to change is a very powerful deterrent factor which is there in the human mind. So the reason why he has gone backwards is to kind of forcefully effect that change, to make you so alert, so that you overcome that inertia. See, whenever you have any resistance to change, it means the tamas or inertia is functioning at that level in the form of stubbornness. The ego brings out this quality of stubbornness, the ego and the tamasic guna. They both combine to create this tendency of being stubborn. Stubborn means just sticking on to your old principles and not wanting to change, a resistance to change. When I say change here, I mean change for the positive, change for the better. So this is one such way, but as a sadhak, you don't need to wait for a verse like this where he has employed this principle and all that. On a daily basis, you should work on yourself and release all these blocks. See, a master, he is very innocent actually. He just gives the principles in a direct way, in a simple way, with the full bhavana that the student should absorb and benefit maximum. There are no barriers, no blocks in giving. But the student will have a lot of blocks. So you should use the sadhana to become aware of these blocks and you should start releasing them. If you follow this principle, you will find the spiritual growth happening very fast. It is not mere understanding of these principles which will bring about a change in you. Mere understanding. It is the level of absorption and practice which will bring about a change. You should remember that. Mere understanding will trigger your ego, because even when you understand a few things, now the ego will immediately become alert and say, why this, why that? So many questions, so much of turmoil will be created within you. But one thing is there, when you have that genuine devotion, when you are truly devoted to God, when you are truly devoted to your Guru, now that will protect you. That will make things conducive for you to release all these blocks and resistance which you are facing. That is why the masters say that both devotion and knowledge go together, have to go together. Whatever your knowledge is, now when you bring in devotion, it helps you to remove all the blocks and absorb it fully. And when you have devotion, knowledge comes in and ensures that devotion doesn't become blind faith. Rather, you surrender with an understanding. It is only a very knowledgeable person actually who can surrender. The ego plays in two ways. One is, whenever this knowledge is given, it builds that stubbornness, it does not allow you to accept so easily. When there is devotion, again the ego brings in the same stubbornness in a slightly different way and does not allow you to surrender. It will make you think, why should I surrender? I am great, no? What is the necessity? So many things will come to dislodge that faith. So the ego uses this quality of stubbornness as its tool to prevent you from spiritually growing. I want you to reflect. I want you to go deep within and see what is happening there. So the backward analysis which he is making is one tool by which you can circumvent these blocks which the ego is trying to create. But that is not the only tool. Actually, as a sadhak, you can directly understand the principle and start releasing all these when you're doing your sadhana. The Guru Shakti is always trying to help you. The Guru Shakti manifests as an external Guru, as your master, and keeps on guiding from outside. The same Guru Shakti is functioning from within. So whatever the master gives from outside, the same thing is triggered from inside also. That is the work of the Guru Shakti. But what acts opposite to the Guru Shakti is the ego. And the ego has various tools. One powerful tool which the ego has is the stubbornness. So the master tries various ways to circumvent this. This is one such example, the method which he has used in this verse. Because the moment see you're walking forwards, and supposing I tell you to now start walking backwards, now your mind will become very focused and alert. You will have no time for stubbornness and all that. You in a focused way you will be walking backward because you don't want to slip. When that conducive mental atmosphere is built, at that time the master sends the healing Shakti. See, this is how these great yogis function. They don't function in the way our minds think, They may ask you to do something which may look unconnected to the higher principles. But during that process, your mind may gather focus. At that time, they will give the main principle so that you can easily absorb. So many ways are there which these yogis use to ensure that the student gains this knowledge and converts it into wisdom. That is the key. So one is understanding of this knowledge, the other is absorption of this knowledge and practicing it. So start focusing on that. Just take up one or two principles which inspire you every week. Week after week, something or other will keep inspiring you. For that week, why don't you keep thinking about that throughout the week? Whenever you get some spare time, whenever you're doing your day-to-day activities, at the background, this can keep going. You will start observing life with these principles. All that will help you to absorb it further. Now, there is one more thing when we talk of moving backwards, which is the technique which is used here. There is one more powerful principle, sadhana principle, which we can get out of that. See, fundamentally, when he is moving backwards, what is he doing? In the first portion of this verse, he says, Annat bhavanti bhutani. So, from food arise beings. Prosperity. I told you, bhava also means prosperity. So, he starts off with the end in mind. He gives you the goal first. And then the goal is far away from you. There is a distance between you and the goal. If there is no distance, then it's not a goal. See, you will have a goal, or there is, what is a goal? It is nothing but a structured, conscious desire to achieve something, right? So, you will have a desire for something only when you don't have it, when it is away from you. If you have something already, you will not say, no, I have a desire to have it. You already have it, no? So, the moment we talk of a goal, it means there is a distance between you and the goal. So, instead of straight away starting from where you are and moving towards the goal, he is actually adopting a very powerful principle. That is, he first starts with the goal, with the end in mind, with the fruit in mind, and then he is working backwards. What are the different steps? Okay, this is the goal which I want to reach. In this context, prosperity. Now, what will give prosperity? The previous step. What will give that step? The previous step. Finally, he comes to you, the individual, and says, get into action. That is the first step. So, this is a very powerful principle which you can apply in your life. That is, in every aspect of life, you should always fix goals first of all. And that should be very clear. You should ask yourself, what is it that I want? See, the problem today is that you don't know what you want. I am not talking of the ultimate self-realization here. That is of course there. But even in relative experiences, you really don't know what you want. You are not so clear. If I were to just pause now, catch hold of you and ask you, tell me what is it that you want, you will stumble. You will say, what I want, something, it will not be very clear. Rather, your entire focus is on what you don't want only. See, when he says, Annat bhavanti bhutani, it's a direct application of this principle. That is, this is what I want, prosperity. And I am very clear about it. He is not focusing on what you don't want. For example, let's say you have some health issues, some pain somewhere. Now, if I had to ask you, what is it that you want? You will say, oh, my knee is paining, oh, my back is paining. All that is something which you actually don't want. whatever disease it is that you have. So your mind has this tendency to always focus on what you don't want. You just observe your own mind, you will understand whatever is being said in a more deep way. All your complaints are because you're focusing on what it is that you don't want. The mind has this tendency, untrained mind has this tendency to visualize the negative outcome and then keep focusing on that. And that negative outcome gives rise to various negative emotions like fear, anger, frustration. So many negative emotions come out of that. So how do you break this habit of the mind? That is, the mind keeps on projecting the negative outcome, number one, and which is what you don't want, and then it focuses on what it does not want. Oh, I have this issue, I have that, I have this, I have that. Now, carefully think about it. All these things are are those things which you don't want, but your mind is preoccupied with that. Before you talk to a person, your mind concludes, oh, that person will not accept all this. He will not agree to all this. There are many people who pass such judgments, even within your family. He is always like that, she is always like this. Oh, my son, he will not listen to me. See, you are actually writing your own destiny. And how is it that you are writing your destiny? By projecting the outcome. Whatever he is doing consciously, you are actually doing it, but in a negative way. Because you are not even aware of the process. Today, and you don't have any control over it. The sadhana helps you to gain that control. So, to break this tendency of the mind, the principle is, instead of projecting the negative outcome, he is saying now start projecting the positive outcome. What is it that you want? So you apply it in all the fields with respect to finance. What exactly do you want? Oh, I want to be wealthy. This is a very generalized term. You cannot visualize that. Be very specific, no? See, when he talks of prosperity, when we come there, we'll see it is all kinds of prosperity in all fields. So, what do you mean wealth? I want a house. What kind of house? You want a flat or an independent house? Be very clear. If you ask something which is way beyond your capacity, you yourself will not have that belief that you will get it. That is also no use. That is why he is bringing back the goal step by step in a backward direction and starts off with karma. Karma means be practical. See, he is getting you grounded now. If you are just dreamy, saying, I want this, I want that, now that is also no use. See, when you are projecting the positive outcome, this is again a block which will surface. That is, the mind will start becoming dreamy without any reference to your capacity, the practicality. It will just keep dreaming. That also he wants to avoid. So, number one, see what has he done here? He first focuses on the end result, which is the goal. This is what I want. And then step by step he is bringing it backwards. And he comes right up to the first step, which is, he says, get into a state of karma, get into action. overcome your inertia and get into action. That is the practical tip he is giving. Means be grounded. Don't just keep living in your dreams. Everybody can dream, anybody can dream. It is only those people who are awake who can make those dreams a reality. Not if you just keep dreaming. You go and ask anyone, would you like to become a multi-billionaire? He'll say, yes, of course. That is just a dream. How to make it into a reality? I am only giving an example, of being a multi-billionaire. I am not suggesting that. Let it be anything. So supposing you say, I want to be healthy. Now this is the goal, health. Now work your steps backwards. In order to be healthy, what are the steps? And finally, what is the karma associated with that? The right kind of food, in Kaya Tattva, that empowerment which is available online, all these principles have been given. How to eat that food, how to drink water, how much of water you should drink, the various yogic principles were given to you, Then what about the exercises, the fire element, how to balance the 5 elements. This is all the karma which you need to do. If you do that, then next step will become practical, then third step will become practical, and then the final goal itself will become very practical. So when you fix your goal, that is when you say, this is what I want, straight away now it will not be practical, because there is a distance between you and the goal. So you will have to bridge that gap by putting intermediate steps. And from where does it start? It starts from the first step, which is being grounded and getting into the necessary karma, the karma which is required in order to fulfill your goal. Unless and until you do that karma properly, you will not get the desired result. See, the problem today is, now that this artificial intelligence, AI, is developing, people are becoming over dependent on that. See, first thing is you should understand that the very term AI means it is artificial. So you should use it effectively, but you should not become a slave to it. Today I find that people are losing their creativity because they have become over dependent on these tools. For everything now they are dependent on the AI. What is my nature? What are my talents? To find that, do you require a software? You don't. See, when later on he'll be covering that, he'll be saying function in the field of your swadharma. Swadharma means your nature. There we will see many tips I'll be giving you as to how to find your nature, how to find your talents. That is the exercise, that itself is a sadhana. The moment you say, here, sometimes these softwares are there, these tools are there, where they just give you a questionnaire. You go on answering various questions. Now the machine will analyze for you and tell you, you are good in this, you are good in that. What is your sadhana in that? You have not grown. The very exercise of finding out who you are will create so much of alertness, sharpness. It will sharpen your intellect. And the sharp intellect will uplift you. So, use all the technology to your advantage. Use them to help you. But never become a slave. This is very important. So, what is it that I want? Oh, let me now put into the software and see. What is it that I want? Then it will ask you a few questions. You answer that. Is this a way of finding out? There are some people who have done that. I got some mail saying that, sir, we used an AI tool and now that is telling me this is what I want. Now I just wanted to verify with you whether we are on the right direction. Your starting point itself is wrong. How can you go and ask a machine about what you want, which is a dynamic? See, your mind is also a machine, but it is a machine with life. This is natural intelligence. So remember, natural intelligence is always superior to artificial intelligence. But when you don't use this, then you become a slave there. You want some information, so you use the machine to gather that information. That is perfectly fine. There you are using it to your advantage. It's like looking up a dictionary. You don't know the meaning of a word. You open the dictionary and see. That is fine. So when it comes to finding what you want or finding what your swadharma is, my request is kindly don't go for these external tools. Then there will be no growth, inner growth will not be there. See, even this process, the sadhana process, is also being made mechanical today. Someone introduces that, and then mechanically people start following. So you should use your original thinking. Yes, no doubt the technology is advanced so much and it's continuing to advance. So how do I use it to my advantage? That cannot be a substitute for my creativity. So the formula which he has applied here to construct this verse is a very powerful formula which you can use in your life and achieve anything which you want. So the first step is start with a goal in mind. Be very clear about what you want. I want this. When it comes to finance, I want this. When it comes to relationships, this is what I want. When it comes to my career, this is what I want. Now, the moment you say, for example, I want this much amount of salary. Now, what is the next step? In order to get that salary, what is a value which I should create in my company? My skills now, my knowledge, whatever knowledge I have now, is that enough to fetch that much amount of salary? The answer will be obviously no. Because if the answer is yes, you would have already got that, no? So, you work backwards. What is the next step? Let me learn these new skills. Let me learn the new things which are required to fetch that salary. This is a very gross example I am giving to make you understand this principle easily. Thereafter, you can apply it for higher and higher things. So, if I want to learn these new things, next step, what kind of effort should I put in? How many, I have to spend, for example, I have to spend 2 hours every day in learning this new subject, learning these new skills. So, when you say, and then you get into the action, the plan of action is there, you get into action. That is what is meant by karma, yajna karma samudbhavaha. So, first get into the state of action. That's where you will end up with. Whenever you want to attain any goal, you want something, you work backwards and see now what you need to do in order to achieve that. The problem is, the tamasic mind does not want to go through all these steps, but it only keeps saying, oh, I want this much, I want that, I want so much money, I want name and fame, I want this, I want that. What about the steps in order to achieve that? So then it starts dreaming. You just live in a dream world of your own. And just like that, time goes away. And then you start complaining. So many years I have lived, still I have not got this, still I have not got that. That's because your karma is not strong. See, your life is in your hands. If you ensure that your karmas are strong, then no force can prevent you from achieving what you want. So it is a superb application of this powerful principle. He starts off with the prosperity here in this context, that is the goal. So when he says prosperity, it is both worldly prosperity and spiritual prosperity. So from there he goes back one step, goes back second step, third step, and then finally he says, get on to karma. Whatever the required karma is, whatever actions have to be done in order to achieve that goal. Are you prepared to pay that price, to put that effort? Nothing comes in life free of cost. Please understand this. The tamasic mind always wants everything free. If you are looking for things in life for free, that is a tamasic tendency. You should always be willing to pay the price for anything. That may be in the form of money, that may be in the form of time, that may be in the form of effort, but the price has to be paid by you in some way, whatever is required there. Only then you can get what you want. So this wisdom is not about, merely becoming dreamy. Oh, everything God will take care, everything Guru will take care. Some people, in a tamasic way they say that. Why should God come and take care of your needs alone? Tell me. God means one who is neutral, right? If at all God is taking care of everybody's lives, then He will take care of you and your enemy also, equally, no? It is you who needs to take care of your life. That is what is Karma Yoga all about. This is the whatever I am telling you, this is the basic knowledge, the fundamental principles of spirituality. So be very, very clear. The first thing which you need to do is fix goals in life. What is it that I want? Start off with relative goals. The same principle is applied for spiritual evolution also. Spiritually, what do I want to achieve? You will again start with relative goals with respect to spirituality also. Initially, your goal will be self-purification, self-development. But finally, that goal will keep evolving and it will finally, you will get to that stage where you will say, what I want in life is self-realization. Who is a person who will get enlightenment, who will become a sthita prajna? One who is able to say, I want self-realization with 100% conviction and focus. No energy should be frittered away. Today, that is not the case. When you say, I want self-realization, you also want so many other things, no? So what these masters are saying is, do sadhana, fulfill whatever you want, fulfill your needs, your desires, and in that process keep doing sadhana. So whatever is unnecessary, those desires will drop off on their own. The other ones will get fulfilled. And in this process, when you keep on growing, a stage would come when you say, I want God. See, when you say, I want self-realization, it's the same as saying, I want God. Now, that will be full, with a full heart. When Prahlada, when he meditated on God, that was full-fledged. When Lord Hanuman sat in meditation, it was 100%. That's the stage which you will get into if you follow this principle. And when you seek God with that kind of intensity, with that kind of fullness, in a full way, now you will get that experience. See, with respect to the other goals, there are steps. But when it comes to that absolute goal of experiencing God, becoming God realized or self realized, there is no path. It is just the seeking. The seeking itself will bridge the gap. In one of the Upanishads, he says that just by seeking, you will get it. Incidentally, when you keep practicing this principle, your Sankalpa Shakti will grow, which is your inner power, to attract what you want. Then what will happen is a stage would come where you just say, I want this. The remaining steps will happen automatically, and you will start attracting positive things into your life. It becomes an automatic process after a while. So this powerful principle which he is giving here will help you become very fulfilled in your life from a relative level, and it will also prepare you to attain the highest experience of moksha. Otherwise, even the spiritual goal will become a dreamy one. Many people start imagining. They think they are special with respect to others, and so God will favor them separately and all that. God neither favors nor does He not favor. That supreme Shakti, that supreme power is absolutely neutral, impartial. By neutral, I mean impartial. When you deserve something, that is given to you. This is the law of karma. And how do you deserve something? Follow this process. So I didn't give you this part of it when we started this verse, because as I told you, everything cannot be given at one go. It will cause a lot of indigestion then. So we have to go step by step. So see, Annat Bhavanti Bhutani is keeping the end result very clearly in the mind. Then Parjanyat Anna Sambhavaha, the next step. Yajnat Bhavati Parjanyaha, next step. And then Yajnaha Karma Samudbhavaha. He comes back to that action, karma. What an amazing structure, Actually gives you the entire philosophy of life, because it teaches you how you should function in life, how you can gain clarity, become clear about what you want, and then work yourself backwards, get to the karma. Everything is there. So every verse by itself is complete. Every word by itself is also complete. I've mentioned this many a times now. Now you'll be able to understand and appreciate that. So the karma is the key. You have to start functioning in that way which will be conducive for you to bridge the gap between you and the goal which you want to achieve. If you don't have any goal at all, then spirituality is not for you. When you come to spirituality, the first thing the master will ask you to do is fix goal. What is it that you want? That's what he'll ask. Because only when the goal is fixed, your karma, your actions will get a direction. If your goal is not fixed, your actions will not have any direction. It's like, the four wheels of a car, they have to be directed in one path. No? If each wheel is running in one direction, where will the car go? It cannot go anywhere. That is why he is first setting the direction and then working backwards. Even the very Bhagavad Gita, he starts off with Sthita Prajna in the second chapter. Prior to that, a very high philosophy he gives, which is a preparation for that Sthita Prajna portion, in the end portion of that chapter 2. No? That is starting with the goal in mind, and then the whole Bhagavad Gita is given. This is a style which many yogis follow. Even if you take many of the scriptures or slokas, they will start off with the phala. Phala means fruit. One who reads this, one who does this sadhana, this is the effect. And then the main thing will come. And then towards the end they will reiterate that. Same thing, he starts off with Sthita Prajna. He starts off with the end result, the spiritual prosperity and material prosperity. And then when you go to the final verses, again he'll end with that. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. And then wherever there is Krishna, wherever there is Dhanurdhara, Partha, Arjuna, means he is now saying the spiritual wisdom and worldly wisdom. Wherever you combine these two, there is glory, so many benefits. He will end with that. So, the karma is the starting step. If your karmas are clear, it means you deserve to get that, whatever it is that you want. If your karmas are not okay, then you don't deserve to get that. So don't merely ask, what is the price which I am willing to pay? According to that, you will be given in your life. You want health, but you will not eat the right type of food. You will just sleep late in the late nights, you will get up late in the night and eat processed foods. You will not do any exercise, but you want health. You don't deserve that. It's not me who's saying this. This is the nature's laws like that. You want to become wealthy. You don't want to fix any goals. You want to while away your time. You don't want to learn the skills required. You don't want to gain any extra knowledge. Even if some opportunities come, you don't want to take up those opportunities. You say, I'm not interested. But you want more money. It's not possible. Here, I'm just saying money. It could be wealth in any form. Similarly, you want wonderful relationships, but you don't want to let go your ego. You don't want to, let go of your negative emotions, anger, jealousy. You don't want to give up your judgmental attitude, but you want wonderful relationships. Not possible. So, one is having a desire. That is the starting point. Next is you should deserve. It is only when you deserve that your desire will be fulfilled. Desire is also very important, but merely desiring is not enough. And how do you deserve something? What is the starting point? Karma. What is it that I ought to do in order to get what I want? I am only explaining this to you in the modern terms, which will make it very easy for you to apply this. So, when you do your karmas properly, that proper karma is called yajna. So, he says yajna karma samudbhavaha. Of course, what samudbhavaha is, we have seen it in detail. So, first getting out of inertia and getting into karma, and then refining those karmas, doing proper karmas, proper actions, that is called yajna. And when you do yajna, which is the right actions towards the direction of your goal, here as far as we are concerned, what is the goal which he is setting? Prosperity. Prosperity can be worldly prosperity in anything, finance, wealth, relationships, career, whatever it is. It also means spiritual prosperity, the inner growth. So, once you start converting your actions into right actions, which is yajna, then what happens? We will go to the next step. Yajnat bhavati parjanyaha. From yajna, yajnat means from yajna, from sacrifice, bhavati arises, parjanyaha. We have translated parjanyaha as rain, but it means much more. We will be seeing that. See, when it comes to the translation, it's difficult to put all the dimensions. Now, that will not be practical, no. So, we have to complete the translation by you putting some word, and then we will use the yogic approach to go deep with it. So, first step, remove inertia, get into action, then refine your action, do proper actions, which is called yajna. Now, if you do yajna, what will happen? He says, from yajna will arise parjanyaha. Parjanyaha is translated here as rain, but it has a very deep meaning. See, the previous word used was samudbhavaha. Now he uses the word bhavati. Bhavati means coming out, arising, the result. So, this will result in this will result in that. So, from karma comes yajna. If you put in the effort, karma will become yajna. So, there karma becomes the cause and yajna becomes the effect. Now, yajna is the cause. What is the effect? He says parjanya. So, this is the cause and effect chain, cause and effect relationship. So you should ensure the causes are perfect, then the effect will be perfect. Now that will become the cause for further effects. This is the chain of cause and effect, which is an essential principle of law of karma. So when it came to karma and yajna, he used the word samudbhavaha. The key word there is bhava, but we saw the different implications of wood and sam and all that we saw. In detail, I have covered that. That gives you a lot of insights. But in summary, what does that show? That word samudbhavaha, it means a lot of effort from your side. You should start this chain of cause and effect. Whenever you want something, in the initial stages you need to put more effort. But after that, he says bhavati. Now the next step itself he says yajnat bhavati parjanyaha. Once you ensure that you have gotten into yajna, now the next step will happen in a smooth way, bhavati. He has not added anything to it. Very interesting. Means once you get into the state of yajna, the effect of that will happen immediately, automatically. You will just slide and start achieving success. As of now, take Parjanyaha as rain. When we go deep into it, you will be able to understand what it really means and what is its relevance in your sadhana. But whatever be it, it's a positive effect. Now that positive effect will further become a cause to create more positive effects. That's what we are going to see, step 3, till we reach that final step, which is prosperity at all levels. So in this chain of cause and effect, see, your life is nothing but a chain of cause and effect. In this chain of cause and effects, the first portion, the first cause to its effect, that is where you require a lot of effort. After that, once you go into the chain, with lesser efforts you will be able to be more productive. This is so true if you want to achieve anything in life. Just observe and see. It is in the initial stages that you will have to put in more effort. But as you gain mastery over that skill, it's not that you will stop putting in efforts, but your efforts will not be a drudgery anymore. Effortlessly you will be able to slide your way through progress. If you let us say you take a flute, you want to learn to play a flute. Now in the initial stages you will not even get the sound, just whistle or air sound, you will not be able to produce any sound at all. It will take a few days, or probably even some people take even 1 or 2 weeks also, just to produce some sound from that flute. I am talking of the original bamboo flute, If you see a master playing the flute, one who has developed that skill in that, no, it will be effortless. But just to produce some sound, so much of effort, all that is in the initial stages. Whenever you try to master any skill or art, initially you will find it difficult. But if you are persistent in your efforts, if you are consistent in your efforts, what seemed difficult initially will become easy after a while. That is the principle which is being conveyed by using the word samudbhavaha for the first step, and then he just says bhavati in the second step. So in the spiritual path also, it is in the initial stages you will find it very difficult, because a lot of poison which you have stored from within will come out. I have told you, that churning incident in the Puranas. From that milky ocean, all wonderful things started coming. But later on only, first thing that came out was the deadly poison. And the gods and demons started churning the milky ocean. So that is the sadhana. Churning represents the sadhana. First thing that will come out is all the poison. Very difficult. The ego will try to, assert itself. But if you consistently do your sadhana, if you are humble to take the guidance from the master, and if you keep continuing with the sadhana, the master will provide a lot of healing, extra healing for the student who has surrendered, especially in the initial stages, so that he or she will be able to overcome that difficult phase with more ease. But once you cross that stage, in the Samudra Manthan, all good things started coming up. What does that signify? Your what you found as a difficult path will now become more smooth, more easy. So whether you want to achieve something in the world, or whether you want to achieve something in terms of spiritual growth, this law functions meticulously. So when you understand this law, you will become more consistent. Just because something is difficult now, you will not stop putting in the effort. A true sadhak is one who doubles, or I would say is prepared to put infinite times of whatever normal effort which otherwise he'll put in the initial stages. To overcome that inertia, get into karma, and then refining that is what requires so much of effort. Once you cross that stage, thereafter the path becomes very smooth. Doesn't mean you will not put an effort, but your effort will actually be effortless. Means it will be very enjoyable for you. So you can experience this even with a simple thing like, let's say you do some yoga every day. I mean the physical aspect, In the initial stages, you will find it very difficult. For the first few weeks, few months, whether it is the yogi kriyas, or even if you go to a gym and you're trying to do some exercises, if first day you do something and then you come home, you will find that your muscles will feel so sore, Next day when you wake up, you will find all kinds of pain in different parts of your body. But you should not stop there. If you stop also, the pain will go away, which means no development. But you should continue doing those exercises. What will give you that confidence? What will give you that impetus to continue putting in your effort in spite of the pain? It is this understanding. The moment you understand this law, then it will not be a factor which will stop you from putting your efforts. So your life is in your hands. You can achieve anything which you want, provided you are willing to put in enormous amount of effort in spite of the various challenges which will come and confront you. All these challenges which are coming in the initial stages, they are all the tests. When you successfully pass those tests, thereafter life becomes very smooth. See, after a while, once you get into the habit of doing your exercises, every session will become so enjoyable. What was difficult initially, in the initial stages, will be very easy. You will be able to do it with ease. Now, with respect to the next level, again, the same rule will be applicable. So, this is a very beautiful principle which he is giving just by cutting off that word sam and would, and just by in a plain way saying bhavati. Means that bhavati means that which happens, that which happens with ease, immediately also. See, we generally think spirituality means it will take a long time before we get success. Nothing like that. If you are able to do your sadhana properly, to the extent you are able to do your sadhana properly, to that extent the result will come automatically with ease immediately also. Immediately means it all depends on how perfect the cause is. I am talking of that, the next effect, the immediate effect will happen immediately only, So, by dropping off these two prefixes, sam and would, and just putting a simple word, bhavati, it's a very powerful message which he is giving here. And when you absorb the energy of that message, you will be able to put in a lot of effort. That is, you will become willing to put enormous amount of effort, however difficult it is. However, whatever be the circumstances, you will not stop your efforts, because you know that all these challenges which are coming in front of me, they are only trying to test me, test my strength. So let me put in more efforts so that these challenges are conquered and I master that skill and I get whatever I want in life. So when you understand this principle, you will become a very powerful sadhak. See, who is a sadhak? A sadhak is one who gets this capacity to achieve whatever he or she wants. If you simply call yourself a sadhak, but you are not putting in any effort, the slightest of challenge, you stop your efforts, then what is the use? Then you should not call yourself a sadhak. So this was demonstrated by Hanuman. When they had to cross the ocean to go to Lanka, everybody felt it was impossible. Hanuman himself had forgotten his powers. He thought it was impossible. But once Jambavan spoke to him, said, "You have immense powers." When he realized that, thereafter he was able to cross the ocean. So many difficulties he faced in between. But all that he just overcame very easily, because he had tremendous faith in the higher, faith in himself, self-confidence. With that, he kept moving. That should be your approach towards life. So, yajna karma samudbhavaha yajnat bhavati Parjanya. I am deliberately saying the word bhavati in a soft way. So samudbhavaha, lot of effort, here bhavati. Once you get into the spirit of yajna, the next step, the positive result which arises out of that, bhavati. It will happen so easily, in a very smooth way. What was a struggle to you earlier now becomes so smooth. So all the successful people have achieved success by going through so much of struggles in their lives, in the initial stages. So don't just look at the final stage and say, see, he has got everything in a silver platter. No. Whether it is a businessman, successful businessman, whether it is a successful artist, whether it is a successful sports person, doesn't matter. Or whether it is a spiritual master, all of them have put in efforts. These people have put in efforts in one aspect of the world. A spiritual master has put his or her efforts in the higher direction. The direction is different, the goal is different, but the methodology is one and the same. So it's very interesting as we go along in this verse, at every step, the different principles of karma yoga has been indicated. You will find it very, very interesting. So in this yogic approach, we scan the verse very carefully and pick out these very important messages which can actually make your sadhana very effective. Okay, so we'll stop with this here. In the next session, we will go into more depth. We'll see what is this Parjanya, how that is relevant to your life, how that is relevant to your sadhana. All that we will see. So now we'll do Nididhyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. Feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. Beyond my physical body, beyond my pranas, beyond my emotions and thoughts, lies my real self. My higher self is infinite and divine. From this moment onwards, I choose to put in the right efforts to achieve whatever I want in life. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Wriggle your fingers, your toes, open and close your palms a few times. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. And cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, your cheeks, forehead, the top of your head, the back of your head, your neck, and slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So today we had a very powerful session. Some powerful principles have been given to you. Now you need to churn it in your mind and absorb all this, and then start practicing it. That is what you should do from your end. The process of converting knowledge into wisdom is a very deep one. So the master initiates, and then the process, and then throughout the process he's always there to help, to guide, to provide the background healing energy. But the actual efforts the student only has to put. Okay? The other thing is regarding the 22-day empowerment in December, Sambandha Divya Vignan, the divine science of relationships. So those of you who have registered, now you'll know that from that moment when you're registering, you'll start receiving the preparatory healing energy. Now, what is important for you is to be very consistent in your daily sadhana, number one. And number two, I want you to start examining your relationships from now itself. Are my relationships very satisfactory or no? Because when you examine that, then only you will gain clarity about what you want. As we go along, I'll give a few more principles if required, which will help you to prepare yourself for that course. The basic preparation is the sadhana which you do. Now, apart from that, the healing energy is being sent to you, but you will have to first commit, because this is a higher empowerment program, and these empowerments cannot be given just like that. There has to be tremendous commitment from the student side. So when you are registering also, that do it consciously. This is what I'm choosing. I'm getting into. I'm going to do the higher sadhana. I'm going to receive the energy from the higher masters, that grace, that higher healing energy, and make my life wonderful. Many other questions have also been asked after reading about the course. We have some time, so as we go along, I will clarify those questions also. Okay. So I'll see you in the next session. We will be getting into more depth. Thank you very much. Hari Om.